Hi, it's Phil here from Revive My Ride. If you've got a Mercedes diesel car or van, you should do this check for Black Death, leaking fuel injector seal. The reason for this is that the Merc diesel engines are prone to this problem, and the longer it goes unchecked, the harder it is to fix due to the carbon buildup. I fixed this on my car 2 years ago, and now it's time to check it's all still okay. So come along and I'll show you how to do the inspection. Okay, the first thing we need to do is to pop the engine cover free. This is really easy to do because it's just held in by push fittings, so you literally just pull up gently at each of the four corners, just like this, and then there's one in the middle as well. With that done, you can remove the engine cover and put it off to one side. So in order to allow us to do the inspection, we're going to have to remove this intake here. And this here is the airbox, and there's actually an airbox on either side. So to gain access, the airboxes have to come out, and then finally there's these foam insulation parts that just pull out. And then you'll be able to see the injectors where they go into the engine and look for carbon deposits. Alright, the first step in removing the central air inlet pipe is to loosen this Jubilee clip where it attaches to the turbo. While we're here, this little electrical connection needs to be disconnected as well. Now we can move on to the left hand side airbox. There's a Jubilee clip and an electrical connection to undo here too. To remove this clip, you just squeeze at the sides and then pull it free, but sometimes it can be a little tight, so as long as you're careful how you go about it, then you can use a pair of grips to squeeze the side tabs, and that'll make it a bit easier for you. Next, we've got a similar job to do on the other airbox, with an electrical connection and a Jubilee clip to undo here as well. So that's the air inlet pipe all undone. But what I've found is that it's a lot easier to remove it if you remove one of the airboxes first. So turning our attention back to the left hand side airbox. There's a couple of Torx bolts that hold the airbox in place. The first is here next to the power steering reservoir, and there's another one just down the back near the bulkhead. So you'll need a set of Torx sockets like this one, and the size that you'll need for this is the E11. So here I'm just using a socket and the ratchet to remove the first of the bolts. Just moving on to the second bolt, which is down the back here, and again using the socket and the ratchet to remove the bolt. Now we're ready to pop the air intake free from the front of the airbox. Sometimes you can just pull on it and pop it free, but often, I'll be honest, I have to use a lever because it can be really tight. So it's clear this is the connection that we're talking about just here. This is what it looks like once you've popped it free. At the top of the airbox, there's just one more electrical connection that needs to be disconnected. And then we can go ahead and pull the airbox slightly away from the inlet pipe. Now we're starting to make some progress, so with that done, it should be possible to remove the air inlet just by pulling it up just like this. As you're lifting the inlet pipe away, make sure you pull this small hose loose just here. It's just a push-in fitting. And nothing else is holding the airbox down, so the next job is to lift it out as well. Now we can go ahead and remove the insulation foam. It just pulls free, but take your time, otherwise you can tear it quite easily. Okay, we're finally ready to inspect the fuel injectors on this side of the engine. Now this is the side of the engine that I repaired a couple of years ago. So as you can see, it's still a little bit dirty from the previous repair, but I can tell it hasn't been leaking because this area here around the clamp and around the fuel injector itself would be absolutely caked with sludge and tar, so I'm pretty happy with how clean it's looking. Just for reference, this is what it looked like 2 years ago prior to the original repair. This is actually a mild case of the Black Death as I fixed it quite quickly. The longer you leave it, the more carbon buildup there is, and therefore the more time consuming and costly it can be to repair. So now we're going to move on to inspecting the other bank of 3, and it's similar to what we did at the other side. So we've got this airbox to remove, and the air inlet coming to the airbox, and again it's 2 Torx screws that holds it in place. So there's one here and there's one at the back. Okay, so let's get the airbox and the foam insulation out of the way. So now we can go ahead and inspect around these 3 injectors here. And this is exactly what we were hoping to see, because there's no visible carbon at all around these injectors at all. And again, if you had blow-by or a leaking injector seal, then this area would be just caked with hard black carbon. If you do find carbon when you inspect your car, then don't worry. I have a video that will show you exactly how to fix it, and I'll provide a link to it in the description below. If you like this video, then please consider subscribing, or maybe even give me a thumbs up. I'll provide links to all of the tools that I used in the description below, and if you have any questions or comments, then please post them below and I'll help if I can. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.